Chapter 3, Jeep and Condo. I feel like I'll be able to tell who read this chapter based on the fact that you have a new car. So, in advance, let me say this. I don't have any gas money for you, but still come pick me up. All my life I've wanted a nice car. It just seemed like the greatest accomplishment in the world, and the true measure of success for anyone who grew up like me. A nice crib too, but mainly a nice car. My sister introduced me to the law of attraction in 2010 with the movie/documentary, The Secret. Since then, I thought all I needed to do to attract a new car was think about it and look at pictures of it all day in order to get it. It never came. No magical new car, no random big amount of money, no nothing. Just feelings of doubt and indecision. Though I enjoyed the imagination process. Still, a small voice inside of me kept saying, this system works. I just got to figure out how to make it work for me. In the meantime, I'd be driving around town in some of the most beat up cars you can imagine. Since my parents never had nice cars, it didn't seem so bad. We were used to junky old cars. In 2016, I came across some tapes by a man named Kevin Trudell. They're called Your Wish is Your Command. You can find them online. I listened, but I didn't truly start paying attention until one tape in particular, where he said, to everyone who saw The Secret, this is why it hasn't worked for you. He went on to explain that while most people know what the law of attraction is, they're incapable of using it or truly getting what they want because of their belief system. It was like Robin Williams in the movie Hook, when he couldn't eat the food everyone else was eating because he had no imagination. I enjoyed what I got from those tapes. I would listen to them every day and genuinely feel good about what I was learning. It wasn't until almost 5 years later, though, I guess my brain finally matured, that I was able to fully grasp and understand what he was saying. There was a small window of effort and fearlessness that you need to put in order to have what you think about to be manifested. This book will show that for every goal or possession I have, at some point, I put in the physical key for its attainment. That could be as big as going shopping for the thing you want, knowing you have no money to purchase it, or as simple as being brave enough to ask someone for what you want directly. Whatever it may be, some effort is required while envisioning having what you want. At some point in 2018, I began to like Jeep Wranglers. I'd never wanted one before, but they started looking nice to me, so now I wanted one. I would take pictures of nice Jeeps I saw on the street. I would Google ones that were hooked up with the big tires and no doors. I would even go on the Jeep website at night to build my own custom model, logging off when it got to the order now and payment section. I even did the scary thing of actually going to the Jeep dealership with my beat up old car parked way in the back just so I could test drive one. This was always the scariest part for me because I felt like the salesman would just smell that I didn't have any money and treat me like shit for it. It's funny how what we fear never actually happens. I test drove a Jeep 4 times at different dealerships, and the salesmen were the nicest people you could imagine. They wanted a sale. In 2020, I found myself without a car. My 2008 Infiniti M35 that had more problems than I could list completely broke down on me. I was carless, with no money, and no help to get a new one. My friends kept telling me to go grab a small Nissan off the lot, something I can afford. But one thing I know about God and the universe is that when I, in particular, want something new, they will take away or break my old thing just to push me out the door to get it. That's their way of telling me it's time. At this point, I decided to stay positive about things. I said to myself, well, I need a car, and I want a car, so I might as well mash those together and get what I want. I decided to get a Jeep. But Jeeps are expensive, and I had never been to the dealership on my own to actually purchase something before. I was nervous, but just said, fuck it. I got nothing to lose. If this don't work out, I can always go get that bullshit Nissan. LOL. No offense to Nissan. I started calling all my friends who had Jeeps and asked if they knew a good salesman they could connect me with. I put up a post on Instagram saying, I'm buying a Jeep this week. Who got the hookup? I still didn't know what I was doing, but figured that if I fired in that direction loud enough, help would come. And it did. My friends sent me to different dealers and I spoke to each one like I was the richest man in the world. Yo, I want these specs, this color, this year, and it has to have a 3-piece hardtop with automatic windows or no deal. Cocky and confident. Once I test drove a Jeep, and instead of leaving a lot, I snuck back into an open Jeep and sat in it for 45 minutes. It had to be 120 degrees in that car. But I knew I needed to feel myself behind the wheel. I made a video of myself saying, "This is my new Jeep. I'm so happy and blessed to have it," with 100% belief that it would be mine. I would watch that video every night, studying every angle of the Jeep I could find. That same week, I ended up at Arrigo Sawgrass. I didn't have any money, but I did have credit cards. I took out cash from my credit cards to cover the down payment and drove off the lot in my very own Jeep Wrangler. Miraculously, they didn't need any paperwork from me, no proof of income or anything like that, which was perfect because as an artist, I don't have much of that shit anyway. Though technically getting a Jeep at that point in my life was out of my league, I wanted it, envisioned myself happily in it, and stayed positive throughout the entire process. I just kept firing in that direction until I got it. The path to what you want won't always be obvious, but if you want it badly enough, you can confidently see yourself in it, and if you send some, no matter how small, action in that direction, you will have it. Just like I did. Now, my condo, on the other hand, was a different story. This was actually a subconscious manifestation. The truth is, when I was looking for a place to live, I didn't know what sort of spot I would get myself into. I just knew one thing. I was not moving into the projects. I told myself, I'm gonna get some fly shit, and I'm not moving to the projects to be cool and affordable. F that. I like to travel, and I love looking at images of the road or different cities I intend to visit. Google Chrome allows you to change your search background image, so I decided to make it something travel-oriented. I chose a downtown cityscape. It was an image of just buildings and a nice view from high up. I reached out on Instagram again saying, I'm looking for a place. Who got me? A friend of mine who was a realtor started working with me. Again, something I thought I couldn't afford. FYI, the seller/landlord pays the realtor, not you. I looked at a bunch of different areas in Miami, ultimately thinking I would just find a place in my own neighborhood, NMB. My friend said he found a spot downtown in my price range. I went to see it, and I loved the raw concrete style of it. I put money down without thinking twice, because I knew I liked the spot. After moving in, my homie Leo came over to visit. He said, "This is a nice place," while sitting with his back turned to my balcony. I agreed with him as I opened my laptop. Then I laughed and couldn't believe what I saw. I said, "Bruh, it's funny. I manifested this place without even knowing it." He said, "How?" Then I turned my computer screen to show him my Google Chrome background image. The image was the exact same view I have from my balcony. A cityscape. I didn't really have any purposeful intention on moving downtown. It just sort of happened that way. But once I noticed my background image again, I realized that it wasn't random. I subconsciously chose the exact same view that I saw on my computer every day. Major key. Keep the images of what you want in front of you at all times. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you will manifest it. Print out a picture if you need to. Change all the background images on your phones, tablets, emails, computers, anything you can. You will attain it. My third manifestation was my Jeep and my condo.